Yeah, thank you guys for joining us. Appreciate y'all covering Sunbelt football and also our program here at Troy. Honored to still be playing this week. Excited about the opportunity to play in the conference championship game and host it. Really a unique situation to be where we are. I think our players have earned it. Not every week has been pretty for us. It's been a hard fought year. This league, top to bottom, extremely challenging to get to this point, and because there's a lot of great teams and great coaching staffs in this league, and I think each week's a challenge. But another one in this game doesn't get any easier. Playing a Coastal Carolina team, 31-5 in the last 3 years and 20-4 in the conference. So they're really good. They've got great culture. They understand how to win and play the game the right way. We gotta have a great week of preparation to put ourselves in position to have a chance to win the game. So with that, open it up to questions. Excited to be meeting with you all on a Monday after the last regular season game.
All right, thank you, Coach. Appreciate that. Again, as a reminder, if people go to reactions, raise their hand. We'll be happy to call on you. We'll start off with Craig Stevenson. Craig?
Hey, John. Everybody wants to compete for championships. Everybody talks about doing that. At what point did you realize that this team had that ability in your first year?
Yeah, I mean, I think we don't hide from that's a goal. We talk about pursuing conference championships. We talk about wanting to win bowl games. We talk about wanting to strive to become a premier Group of 5 program in college football. When did I think it was real this year is when after I accepted the job, and then you started to get Austin Stidham and Carlton Marshall and some veteran guys who I think, maybe were not willing and comfortable leaving off of being a 5-win team 2 or 3 times in a row. And they wanted to come back and leave a different legacy, a different impression with their last year. When we got those guys returned, I felt like we had a chance to be a good team. Did that mean I knew we were going to be in this position? No, I didn't know that. You had no way of knowing that, but we knew. You get KJ Robertson, DK Billingsley, Craig Slocum, Carlton Marshall, Austin Stidham, all these guys that were either 6-year guys or I think probably had some other people reaching out about transferring. You get all those guys to decide, hey, let's go back and do this one more time together at Troy and leave a different legacy. That gave me hope that we could get it turned quicker. 10-2. I don't project that I knew that was coming, but also we prepare to win each and every week, regardless of who we're playing. And then I think you, as a coach, you look up at the end of the year and you reflect. I'm really not quite at the point of reflection, but I am. I do think those guys returning gave us an opportunity to maybe be better faster.
Gotcha. And one other thing, Vidal's just been running the ball with authority the last couple of weeks. What's been the key to that in terms of him and the line and all that kind of working together?
Yeah, some of it's his health. I didn't make a big deal of it earlier in the year, but he was nursing an ankle, a little bit lower body extremity type thing, and was available early in the year, but just wasn't quite himself. And then 2, we're playing the game a little bit different style with how we're blocking. We take a little bit tighter splits in the O-line, maybe to some people. We emphasize playing with knockback physicality on the line of scrimmage more than maybe position blocking, which I think has been a real change from the previous style of play here. Not knocking that style of play, but we want to play a more physical downhill brand of football. And so some of that has taken time with the O-line gelling and kind of coming together and understanding that style of play better. And then the receivers are blocking better and the tight ends are blocking better. And it's, everybody thinks it's all the running back or all the O-line or maybe just those 2, but the receivers, they block for explosive run plays. And so I think it's been a culmination of a lot of different things. And then sometimes too in the game, you don't always run for a bunch of yards in the first quarter. It takes time. You just keep chipping away. You keep chipping away. You keep chipping away. And you've seen a lot of our big explosive runs really been in the second half. And you kind of want to wear the game down a little bit, if you will, and grind it out at times. I'd also like to be able to throw the ball better than we've thrown it. We throw it really good early in the year. we were explosive in the pass game early in the year. Not been as much recently. Saturday was a very wet, kind of a blustery day that we felt like, hey, that wasn't the plan to win. Let's grind it out here.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Go to Maxwell Donaldson. Maxwell.
You touched on it a little bit with the first question, but in your first season, what does it mean not just to be in the Sun Belt Championship, but also hosting?
Yeah, I mean, you not in complete control all the time of whether you get to be at home or on the road, but very unique opportunity that I'm grateful for, and I think our players are too. And I'm really happy for these young men that are, at the back end of their career here that have seen this through. To be playing a conference title game and get to play the first Saturday in December is something as a college football coach or player that you dream about. And then to be able to do it in your home stadium. Now, it won't be quite like a home game because the conference sort of takes over a lot of the operational pieces, but it is, we get to sleep where we sleep when a home game the night before the game and do our normal home game routines, which is fun and exciting. And I kind of kid around with the guys. I'll joke with them today that this week we get to play like on the real ESPN channel too. We get to play on ESPN 8 and Plus and behind Dodgeball some. And then this week we get to play like on Prime ESPN, the original broadcast leader of ESPN Sports, which is awesome. I love all the ESPN networks. I'm not knocking ESPN 8, all right, and Dodgeball and ping pong. It's really cool to play on ESPN.
Thank you, Maxwell. Let's go to Dan McDonald. Dan.
Coach, why you hate dodgeball?
I love it. We actually in the off season we'll play dodgeball as a team. It teaches, I think you're competing all year, and so we'll compete in dodgeball in our stadium on Fridays and off season. So we do a lot of different things. I just like I like it all. I'm good.
Obviously, the score Saturday wasn't indicative of how most of that game went. Was there a point that you felt like almost the switch flipped for your football team?
Yeah. I talked to him at halftime, and the first thing I told him was, hey, we've been here before. We haven't played great in the first half every game all year. We've had to come from behind a lot. And then I reiterated, we got this game right where we want it. We love being down and with our backs against the wall. We scored to go up 20-19. They were moving the ball. And then on Reddy's pick six, 60-something yard, or maybe 70-yard pick six. That was sort of the one that you felt, the play that you felt like, all right, let's go. And then it became like a snowball rolling downhill after that for us from a momentum standpoint. And I think that's sort of been the story of our year. I felt like a lot of our games, you could feel a play that's just sort of shifted the game in multiple games. And credit to our guys for continuing to believe and find a way and have confidence. And all we need is one play to make it go. But that was the play I felt like on Saturday.
And I was going to ask you about that. You've had a lot of games that you've been down at half. What about this team that enables them to not go into panic mode, to just to settle back and play like I know that they can?
Yeah, I think a belief in each other, a confidence level that I talk to the team a lot. Like, I think UFC's become more popular these days, but I grew up watching boxing, and it's a 12-round fight. And you're never, if you box all 12 rounds, you're never knocked out. Well, I do use that analogy a lot. And I talk about it's a 4-quarter football game. Like, they don't determine the winner at halftime in anything in football. Fans may ride the emotional roller coaster of a game up and down, but for us, you play 4 quarters, 15-minute quarters, 60-minute games, play the whole game. And I think our guys have continued to believe in that. I think, when you do it more than once, it creates more and more confidence that you can do it again. I think that over time, our guys have created a belief that play the entire game, then look up at the scoreboard at the end of the game. Let's see what the scoreboard says.
If I could ask one more quick one, were your guys aware of the fact at the start of the game or whenever it happened that Coastal had lost, that you knew that if you won, you're hosting?
Yeah, I think some guy, I mean, I can't hide from technology being around. I think people knew. I wasn't real concerned about, like, I heard somebody talk about the score of the other game on our side that could help us get to the championship game. And I'm like, let's just go play our game. I don't care about any other game. But I think the guys knew, and people were talking about, I didn't know really. I didn't know until after we had won, and they were like, hey, we're hosting. And I'm like, we are? Like, I knew that JMU had been up in the game a little bit, but I didn't know the exact score or the outcome. But I think our kids all knew it because, you know, everybody's got their phone attached to them 24/7.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Except for in the middle of the game, hopefully. But
Appreciate it.
We'll go over to Alan Lawton. Alan?
Yeah, hey, Coach. In retrospect, you guys have won 9 straight, but were you at the time concerned about your team's morale, or, you know, after that Hail Mary loss against App State and you were 1-2 and, you know, you should have won that game?
yeah, I mean, I think you're always you have that kind of setback, and you're worried about. I think it's really, really hard to get people to get up off the mat after a gut-wrenching defeat like that and lay it all on the line again. And testament to the young men on our team and our locker room and our coaches for just finding a way to go, hey, we lost the game. So what? Now what? Like, that's a mantra we use around here a lot. Is so what? Now what? Like, we win a game. So what? Now what? Like, what do you do next? That's what matters. Heartbreaking, yes. I don't know if we're where we are right now if we didn't have that happen. I think that, you know, it created some clarity and maybe some mental toughness, and adversity sometimes creates good things. A lot of times. I mean, I think you grow through adversity more than you do through success or comfort sometimes. And so I think there was a lot of growth in that situation.
Hey, Coach, I got another question. How different does Coastal's offense operate if Grayson McCall is the quarterback, and how much are you going to prepare for him being the quarterback this week, not knowing?
Yeah, I think, you know, they run what they run. Jamey does a tremendous job. Their staff does an outstanding job, man. Schematically, culturally, they do really good things in their program. I got a lot of respect for them. And I think that Grayson McCall is clearly an outstanding player. I mean, he is a dynamic football player. I think they are who they are. That's what makes them good, though, is that they've got an identity on offense. And while certain guys that may line up at quarterback for them have maybe a different skill set or a different strength or weakness, I believe what's made Coastal successful, you know, I stated at the start, they're 31-5 in the last 3 years. You don't have that kind of success being wishy-washy and changing, and they know who they are, and they've got a really good identity. They present a lot of different issues offensively. Jarrett Guest has played the last couple of games for him at quarterback. The other kid, Bryce Carpenter, I think has been there for like 9 years too. I mean, he started games for him in 2018, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I saw his name. I'm like, hey, I remembered him from when I was in the league last in 2017. And so I'm like, this guy's been there forever. He's their third guy. So they've got good depth. They got good players behind McCall. McCall is obviously a very talented young man who I love his competitive nature and his grit. But I think their offense has got success because of it has an identity.
Thank you. We'll go over to Hunter Dawkins. Hunter?
Coach, congratulations again last weekend. Also, too, even though I know this has kind of been a question asked, when you're reviewing the film, at least from last weekend, is there any somewhat of a copycat scenario that you want to play against Coastal, despite not necessarily knowing if McCall is going to be in the game or not.
You say with copycat, like in regards to how we're going to play the game?
Yeah, defensively against them.
Yeah, I mean, I think you study what's worked, and early in the game they had success against JMU, and then I think that JMU does some nice things, and JMU's got really good players. Watching them on video, I'm very impressed with them as a team, and so we're going to be who we are. Are there certain tweaks or adjustments that we might have to make because of some of the unique things they do with the option element that they present and some of the belly G's in the run game that they run and some of the actions they run off of it? Yeah. But at the end of the day, we're not going to, within a week, just dramatically change who we are. We'll tweak some things and adjust some things out. And we really look a lot at who are their best players, and they've got a lot of them. I mean, they're very talented. So it's not like sometimes you play people and you go, hey, we're going to take away this guy or that guy, and we're going to make them beat us this other way. Well, they got a lot of players all over the place that on offense that give you problems.
Over to Sam. Sam.
Hey, Coach. Obviously, I haven't played Coastal this year, but the last three matchups over the past three seasons have been one-score games. All went Coastal's way. What do you guys have to do sitting here on Monday to get that to go the other way on Saturday?
Yeah, I think you got to protect the football and not turn it over. You got to limit their run game and explosive plays, and then we got to create some explosives ourselves and then play clean in the kicking game. I mean, the formula to win each week might change a little, but those things staying true. And there has been some close games between these two teams, and I think Coastal's found a way the last few years to come out with a win, and that's because I think they've had great culture, and they still do, and they believe in what they're doing, and it'll be a good challenge. There's a reason why they've won as many games the last 3 years as they have.
And then what does it mean for your program, Coach, to be in your first year back at Troy and have the championship game come to your home field this weekend?
It's exciting. I'm just excited for our fans and for the young men on our team. Our players have earned so many great things this year because of their work ethic and their consistency and their buy-in. I don't take it lightly that new staff, they've bought in and done what we've asked them to do in so many ways that some of those things we've asked them to do early on were not very comfortable for anybody. And they've accepted the new and the change, and but getting to do it at home, getting to play in this game first off is a privilege, and getting to do it at home makes it even more special. I'm really just happy for the young men on our team, and then happy for our fan base to be able to be there and not have to travel.
Yeah, I hope everybody had a better weekend than we did. So we're very humbled and excited to represent the East Division, in this new Sun Belt. We're excited about being in the championship game. Our guys have earned that through the rigors of the season, and looking forward down to traveling to Troy. And we know they've got a veteran football team, very experienced, and they're playing really, really well on both sides of the ball. And we know it's an unbelievable challenge, but we're excited about being in the game and having an opportunity to hoist a trophy.
I appreciate that, Coach. As a reminder to members of the media, if you go into reactions and raise your hand, we'll be happy to call on you. We'll start off with Dan. Dan, please go ahead.
Morning, Coach. When you have a game like you did on Saturday, the cliche is to flush it. Is that easier said than done? And how do you go about doing that?
Well, I'm sure it's easier said than done, because when you get your tail kicked, you get it kicked, and so there's a lot of you question everything. But sometimes you just have a bad day, and you go back and look at the film there in the first half. We're up 7-3, have opportunity to score, to go up 14-3 on two back-to-back plays where we got two guys open and we missed it. And then it sort of snowballs from there a little bit. And then the second half was just, total butt kicking. So we'll learn from it. I think, you want to learn from it and see the things that, hey, there's some things that we did, there's some positive things that we did do, just not enough of it. And you learn from it and you move on, and The good thing about that is we get another game opportunity to wipe it away. You know, sometimes I tell our team a lot, it's like you're dirty and you just can't wait to shower, right? And you smell and stink. And right now we smell and stink. But we get an opportunity to shower Saturday, and we get an opportunity to do that. So it's easier said than done, no doubt. But if I know our team, we're a resilient group, we'll learn from it and go and play our best this Saturday.
Were there a couple of things that you were able to pick out that I know that were not characteristic of your team, and B, that you want to get corrected before this weekend?
Well, one, I thought we had 3 drop passes all in the first half where they're huge on drives that could have sustained some drive force. And those are things that we've done a pretty good job of this year. And then we had more from a mental standpoint. A lot of that's obviously due to the opponent, but we had a lot more mental errors and guys just not lining up properly and some things that we've done a pretty good job of. And so from my standpoint, I didn't do a good enough job of just getting us ready for it, and because those are things that you can control, right? There's certain things that are out of your control, but the ones that we did control, we just didn't do what Coastal's capable of. And those are things that we got to improve and fix.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you.
I'll go over to Hunter Dawkins. Hunter.
Coach, what's the likelihood that McCall plays this weekend or an eventual bowl game for you guys?
I don't know the percentage. He's getting better each week. It's closer probably to a bowl game it would be this week. He's improved every week. We're going on Saturday will be 4 weeks. It was a 3 to 6 week injury. He couldn't have played Saturday. He wasn't healed, so that was 3 weeks. So we'll just continue to see how he's healing. Our doctors and everybody are saying it's closer to 6 weeks. So, but if he can go this week, then I know he'll want to go. If he's not healthy and he has an opportunity to hurt himself worse, then we're not going to let him play. So we're still sort of status quo with him right now.
All right. We'll go over to Craig Stevenson. Craig.
Hey, Coach. Just what's your assessment of Troy defensively and how they're able to do the things they do on that side of the ball?
Well, they're tremendous. And best defense that, in this league. They've got veterans at all 3 levels. They give you a bunch of different looks. They play extremely hard. And they're coached well. They don't miss a lot of tackles, which, usually you hope you can get guys to miss tackles, but they don't. And they got a lot of depth. I mean, they're rotating a lot of people that play, and they play at a high level. And they're challenging. They make it challenging to try to scheme them and do the things that you want to try to do to put your guys in position to have an advantage, because they give you a lot of different looks, and then they've got some good players that execute that. And they make you earn everything. There's nothing free. And that's the hard part, I think, about them is they don't give up much. They attack everything. And we've obviously seen them the last few years, and it's the same group. They're very senior laden. They've got a lot of experienced players. And so we know how good they are.
Second thing, you've been at some places as a first-year coach. How impressive is it what Sumrall has done this year, getting them in the conference championship game in year 1?
I've been very impressive. Anytime you come in and take over and establish your culture and do things that we want to do, sometimes sometimes young people are resilient or not resilient. They don't want to change. They like how it was, and to get them to buy in as quickly as they can. I mean, they're a Hail Mary away from being 11-1, and just dominating this league. And so that shows you how good they are and how much they bought into what he's doing and the coaching staff. So it's he'll no doubt be the coach of the year.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go over to Chris Parks. Chris.
Hey, good afternoon, Jamey. 2 questions for you. First, can you just talk a little bit about Jared's confidence? I know that wasn't the game he envisioned he wanted to have against JMU, but can you talk about just kind of how he can move forward from that? And then secondly, just discuss the series with Troy and all the close games you guys have played with them.
Jarrett did some solid things in that game. There's some things that we didn't help him on, and I referenced those. There's some of the drop passes that could have helped us, put some more points up there early in the game. But also there's some things he missed, some bad decisions that he missed. And I don't think I don't think it's taking his confidence. I think he knows he can make some plays, but he also knows that he's got to make better decisions. But also, we got to play better around him. I think anytime you've got a quarterback in there and he's got some talent but that has limited experience, you got to play well around him. You got to help him and not hurt him. And that's offense, defense, special teams. And he's got to improve the areas that he hurt us, by some of the decision making, but also we've got to help him by making the plays that are there to be made and blocking the right guys, et cetera. And so his confidence is not shattered by any means. I think he knows he can help this team win. He knows he's got to improve it, but he's working hard to do that. And yeah, we've had since 2019, we've had overtime game. I think scoring a touchdown with 40 seconds to go in 20, and then in 21, I think they fumbled with 20 seconds left, and that was a one. So they've all been one-score games and come down basically to the last drive. And so two pretty evenly teams that are even and competitive, and we've been fortunate the last 3 seasons to be out on top of that. But there's been some great football games. If you didn't care who won and you were just watching the games, there's some really good ones. And they've obviously got everybody back from those time frames. So I know that they've probably been waiting for this game for a long time, and one that they probably were hoping they'd play us to get an opportunity to I don't know, revenge or whatever it may be. But they're really, really good, and we've played some really good games. Hopefully we can play another good one.
Thank you. We'll go over to Charlie. Charlie, please go ahead.
Hey, Coach. I know 2 years ago you qualified for the championship game, but the game was never played. Is the mindset when you're going against Troy, and you just referenced the close history, is it you're just taking it like as a game, or is this going to be like almost like a bowl game, championship game mentality where you're, and I know you lay everything on the line, but are you opening up all the bags of tricks and just emptying the gas tank, trying to win this true championship instead of a co-champions like 2 years ago?
Well, I mean, whether it's co-champions or not, you count it as a championship. So I don't think of any of that any less, if that makes sense. But it's a championship game. I doesn't mean we're going to, anything that we think can help us win the game, we're going to do, because it's the last one you're playing, right? I know we have a bowl game obviously afterwards, but we know this is for the Sun Belt Championship, and we want to be the first team to win it in the newly formed Sun Belt. I mean, I think that's a great history. That's a great legacy. We want to be the first team to do that. So we're going to treat it as a championship game, just like I know they are, and we're going to play our game. But we're not going to do anything that's out of ordinary. Not going to do anything that's not who we are. What's helped us get to this point is playing the way we can. We've got to continue to do that. We don't have to go play just out of our mind to win, but we got to play well to win. Because if we don't, we know they're going to beat us. And so we know we got to go play well, but it's a championship game, and we're going to treat it as a championship game.
Go over to Dan. Dan, please go ahead.
Coach, with all the talk all year has been how much better the Sun Belt was going to be this year and how strong the Sun Belt East was. And last week's game notwithstanding, how much satisfaction is that your team emerged from that gauntlet?
I'd have felt a lot better if last week would have went better. But you know what? I mean, the East is challenging, and we were fortunate enough to be able to win the games we needed to win to put ourselves in this opportunity. And there's some really, really good teams in this whole league. I mean, the West is obviously good, and you can see what Troy and South Alabama was able to do. And Southern Miss getting bowl qualified, and Louisiana doing it again. So, I mean, there's some really good teams on that side. And we got all the preseason pub, obviously, on the East because of what the potential was. And I think we beat each other up, and be able to survive that and come out of it. We're thankful for to be the first East representative of the Sun Belt there. I mean, that's a great accomplishment. I don't know if our team appreciates that or not. But I don't take it for granted, because I know how tough this side of the division is, and also know how many people we lost, the injuries that we had to overcome, and us not really having a lot of super seniors and losing the number of experience we had. This year was supposed to be sort of a rebuild, and for us to come out and represent the East and play for the Sun Belt Championship for the same time of years. It speaks a lot about our players.
And Coach, if I could ask one more, and this is more about James Madison. And I don't ask this because of last week. I ask for the large sample size they've done all year long. Your school is in the unique situation that you had to go through that very same thing about when you make the step up. Is that rule sort of, is it antiquated and is it fair?
You know what? That's not for me to judge. I mean, I could look at it opposite. When we came up, we had to get to 85 scholarships without a portal, and we had a signing limit. James Madison had no signing limit. They had the portal to use, and they're already given cost of attendance at FCS. So they had a lot of building advantages most of the FCS teams don't have. So they took advantage of what their opportunity was, and they're good at it, what they do. And so it's in there for a reason, and we'll go with it.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you.
Hey, Sam, we'll go over to Sam.
Hey, Coach, saw that Bedgood and Bennett at least got in and got a couple carries this past weekend. How important is it to have those guys back for the championship game? And then how important is it for you guys to establish the run, getting back those guys from injury?
Well, it's great to have them back. We just need to get them more involved. You know, I think that's been our challenge, is trying to find ways to get them involved and do the things we need to do with them. You know, the hard part for us is trying to figure out how to make Jarrett comfortable, because a lot of new stuff for him, and then trying to get those guys the ball with somebody else. It's been hard for us now that they're all back and trying to figure out what's the best when you've gone so long without them. It's not as easy just to plug them in. They've been out of practice in some of those things, but we got to be able to establish, if we're going to win this game, we got to try to be able to establish the run. And because if we can't, if we have to sit back and drop back and throw it a bunch, and let them come after us, we're going to be in trouble. So we've got to do a good job of establishing running, trying to get those guys involved with it.